Welcome to Paper and Moose. Many of you have been asking how I decorate with the items that I find at all the flea markets and auctions and estate sales, etc. that I go to. So I thought the easiest way to show you, since I can't go back in time to Halloween or Christmas, would be to make a little slideshow of photos of the decorating that I do. When I decorate, I try to do a couple of things. I either try to decorate with things that are like each other, similar, if they're little die-cast cars, photographs, etc. Or I will decorate with items that look like they wouldn't fit together, but they do. Or I also try and tell a story with the items. Sometimes people come over and they might look at how I decorate and be like, how does this go together? But to me, it creates some type of story. So that's what I like to do. I have super deep windowsills, and so I take full advantage of them. If I, or when I ever move, if the new place that I go into does not have deep windowsills, then it's a no-go because they are a joy to decorate with. So I hope that you all like this. I will, go through each photo, tell you maybe a little bit of a story behind why I bought the item or why I decorated how I did. So let's start. So these are some of the planters that I have outside. The two in the back, the larger ones, I purchased 2 for $5 at the flea market. And then the Oriental man in the front, I think I got him for $1. But succulents are great to use for color, choose for plants. And also if you don't have a super green thumb like me, it's very hard to kill a succulent. So I just love the color of the pots, and I love the color of the succulents that go in the pots, and these stay out on my porch during the summertime. Into my house, I have 2 bathrooms. My bathroom downstairs on top of the toilet, I have this little, vignette. I think it's kind of funny because it's on top of the toilet and you have a no fishing sign. The fish bowl is a vintage one that I got in a box lot. The fish inside is actually a baby rattle. And then the stones that are in there are from the good old dollar store. The quality tackle box, I was at an auction and there were some vintage fishing items and I really just wanted this box. But the box that it was in went for, it was probably $30 or $40. And so I nicely approached the man that purchased the box and asked if I could just buy that one little tackle box because I just love the graphics. And then the no fishing sign I got in a box lot as well. But I just love putting these types of things together. And the fish looks mighty happy that no fishing is allowed. My upstairs bathroom is pretty much this pink color. It's like a pink granite. And so I somehow, through my travels to the markets, accumulated little tiny miniature pink vases. So the 3 vases on the bottom are little mini vases, and then I found this pink wooden outhouse. Up to the right, the perfume crystals. This is from a Stanley Home kit that I purchased a while ago at an auction. It was this amazing traveling suitcase with all these different samples from I think it's Stanley Home. There were mops, dusters, all sorts of neat things, and the perfume crystal tin was one of them, and the pink fit perfectly. The Sloan's liniment bottle, again, I love the graphics, so I just put him behind. I like how it just gives a different pop of color. And this I have on my little edge of my shower. It's not near where there's going to be any water. It's off to the side. It's not in the shower. It's on the outside past the shower door. But I just love the pink. And so this little display stays up all year. This is on the wall outside of my one bathroom. The sign is probably one of my most favorite pieces that I purchased at the flea market. The story behind this whole scene, the bottom right we have the lady head vase. To this day, I really regret not the whole transaction of this. It was so many years ago. I was at the flea market. I don't even think I had any apps on my cell phone. There weren't, I don't even know if there was an eBay app at that time. I'm guessing there was. But I had a cell phone where if you wanted to use the internet, you had to pay to use it. And reception was awful. So I saw these head vases, and the lady had pretty much her whole collection, and she had the normal size, the larger size vases, and then the small ones. I think she wanted, I don't remember, it was a ridiculously low amount of money, maybe between $3 and $5 on the large head vases, and then I think $2 for the small. And I only purchased one. I have no idea why. I mean, I was into reselling, not super into reselling. I was still, the place that I was living at, I just didn't have enough room to have all sorts of, boxes of head vases. But when I went home, I thought, why didn't I buy more? I only purchased one, which is her. Going in chronological order, I guess next would probably be the hand in the upper right. This is a really neat piece. It's not concrete. I'm not sure what kind of material it is, but it is handmade. I purchased it at a townwide yard sale for $1. I mean, the hand is huge, and it probably weighs, it at least has to weigh like 5 pounds or more. And it's neat because the back has different hooks, so you can position the hand so it can point in pretty much any direction you want to. And when I asked how much, the lady was like, oh, my dad made that. Let me go ask him. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm thinking again, oh, he's probably going to want a lot of money. And he was like, oh, how about $1? Yes. The sign, like I said, is probably one of my most favorite finds at the flea market. And it cost me a whopping $10. This is a sign from Catherine Kiss's beauty shop. It was an actual beauty shop in Pennsylvania. And it's double-sided, I believe. The other side the graphics weren't as nice. It was a bit more rundown and worn, but I love it. And the scissors I just found again at the flea market. But when I was putting this together, I'm like, wait, I have that sign. The lady's face on the sign is kind of similar, almost pretty much similar in style to the head vase. Let me create this little, again, like a little vignette or a little story. And, the sign went up first, the lady's head went up next, and then I thought, oh, I have the hand, and then since it's a beauty shop, I added the scissors. This piece brings me joy every single time that I see it. I don't change this out. It stays up year round. Again, the sign was probably one of my best finds at the flea market. This is another little display of some of the dog items that I've collected. This isn't a shadow box that I purchased from a craft store. I think it was only maybe $2. That's why I purchased it. And I love the yellow color. Again, I would rather purchase an old wooden box and make one out of it, but for $2, I couldn't pass it up. So these are some of the dog postcards or dog photos that I've found and I've kept through the years. The one on the right is a photo of this little, child lovingly hugging her puppy. And then the dog on the left is a photo postcard. Those, just purchased in, again, box lots. And then the little dog I found at the flea market, maybe paying $1 for him. But I love putting, things together, finding things and then adding them to my collection and then making a little story out of them. And this is displayed upstairs on my wall, but I change the scene in this shadow box depending on either the season or just, what I'm feeling like. Here are my doll collections. Some people detest old dolls. They think they are the creepiest things on earth. I love them. The crib that they're in is a vintage wooden crib. I believe I purchased that for $10 at a flea market. It has that great yellow color. And then the dolls, I honestly don't believe I paid more than I would even like to say each doll was maybe either $1 or $2. I love them all. Sometimes I'll bring them down during Halloween and put them out as my Halloween display, but I actually think I have a few more added too. The one all the way on the left, not the larger one, the one in the middle, I love her. She has such a sweet face. And then the Kewpie style doll right in the middle, that was a whole $1 at the flea market. I was so proud walking around with that. You know, its head is taped up a little, but I love the vintage old dolls, and you know, there's just something about them. Again, some people hate them, they will walk away from them, and that is fine because then I will buy them. But these dolls, you know, they're in my collection. I won't be selling them. I love them. This picture came out really huge. This is a concrete mushroom. I actually have 2 of them. On the left, I purchased them at a yard sale. The wife was making her husband sell all his concrete lawn ornaments, and he had these 2 great mushrooms. They have the white circles on the tops for on the mushroom cap, and I think I got both of them. They were either I think they were $5 a piece. I wasn't gonna barter with him for that, and he felt so sad selling them, but he's like, my wife said I had to. So I told him, you know, they are going to a good home. And then I found the little gnome again in a box lot. So I have a mushroom and the little gnome or elf. They're in one of my corners upstairs in my place. You know, I love windowsills and I love corners to decorate in. They're very, you know, use up all that space. But I love these concrete lawn mushrooms. They're probably one of my most favorite yard sale finds. Now we move into some of the holiday decor. When I was putting these together, I realized I don't have any pictures for Valentine's Day, and I don't have that much for Easter. But these chicks are the ceramic chicks with glitter on them, and these were actually my grandmother's. And I love these chicks. They have made these again. I've seen them at craft shows in the recent years with more like fluorescent bright colors, and I have purchased a few of them because they add a nice pop of color and they remind me of the original vintage ones, which I have here. But what I did here is we have the chicks, and then they're in just an old wooden, I think it's a cigar box, and then I added some, you know, Easter grass in between the chicks, and this goes on my windowsill. But these Easter chicks are probably, you know, one of my most prized decor items because they belong to my grandmother and because I remember always seeing them at her house. So I had to have them when she passed away. So these will always be brought out during Easter because they bring such fond memories to me. This is a little blurry, but it adds a little eeriness. This is some of my Halloween decor that I put out. Again, this is taking items that really have nothing to do with Halloween or aren't sold as Halloween items and making them into Halloween items. The hutch is a black miniature, you know, child's toy hutch. This is on my windowsill in my kitchen. On the left, you have a juniper bottle. It's a glass, you know, like apothecary bottle. I bought a few of them at, I believe it was an auction. The lady in the frame on the left, that is a glass plate photo, and then the lady on the right is, you know, a regular photo. But my story behind this is that, or the story that I put together was, you have the lady on the right, you know, she's getting up in age through the years. She somehow becomes a lady on the left, and then you can't see it, but on the upper left of the hutch, it's actually a paper, old paper, little like Halloween witch hat. And so I added that into it kind of to give the mystique that, you know, maybe this lady had a little, you know, was a little witchy during her life. You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just like the story that it plays into with Halloween. And then the chair, I found 2 of those little miniature, they're like metal or cast iron chairs, and it actually fits perfectly in with the photo. It, you know, it doesn't have the same, it's a similar style, you know, the rings on the chair are a little bit different in the photo, but I just love how it goes all together. And whenever I put this out for Halloween, it makes me smile because I just love the story that I created with it. And you want to decorate with things that make, that make you happy and that you enjoy seeing. More of my vintage Halloween. I have this, these hooks going up my stairs as I go upstairs. So through the years, I've been able to accumulate some vintage Halloween costumes. We have a scarecrow, and then the one on the left is a Frankenstein, and then the other items that I have hanging are some masks. And then the coat hangers that they're on actually came from a church that was having a sale, and so I believe that the hangers, they all have numbers on them. So I think that's where their, their like choir coats were. So during Halloween, I'll take out my, the Halloween costumes and I'll hang them from there. And then after Halloween for Thanksgiving, I'll actually put my vintage football items up for the big football game that we have in this area. But this is a great way to display them. And, instead of having them cooped up in a box, they get to come out during their season and, hang out, I guess, and bring me happiness when I see them. And the costumes back then were so great. Like, there's just something about the old Halloween that really, that's why people collect it, because the graphics are wonderful, the colors are wonderful. Here's some more Halloween. Again, this is what I like to do to put together. I have the doll head, no body. It's in this little tin. Again, it's a box lot, which is sitting on top of a wooden box that has a paper address label that actually sent the box through the mail. I use that a lot to prop up items. And then you have, I believe it's a caliper, the measuring tool. It wasn't used to measure heads back then, but hey, I thought it was a perfect fit. When my family comes over, they look at it and they're like, yeah, that's good for Halloween. But, it's taking items, putting them together, creating stories, and having instant, decor. That's what I like to do. So that's probably one of my favorite things to put out at Halloween. This is fall. This is my ceramic Christmas tree that I keep up year round. At a yard sale, I purchased a whole bucket of lights for, I think it was $5. And they're all different shapes, sizes, colors. So I switched them out depending on the holiday or the season. And I thought it was funny, after I took this picture, I realized that some of the lights actually look like pieces of candy corn, but they're not. The lights are yellow, orange, and white, but just the way the light inside hits it. And then I have a little squirrel for fall that I also picked up, probably at the flea market. And then the fence on the bottom, I keep the fence up, and also I try and incorporate bottle brush trees into my decor all year long because I just love them. But this ceramic Christmas tree, again, it stays up all year round. I just change out the bulbs, and I probably purchased that tree at a yard sale too. You can never have enough vintage ceramic Christmas trees in your life. More fall / Halloween. This is on my porch. I have, again, a little corner by my door that I keep. Sometimes I keep this wooden chair out. It has a great color pattern. It's yellow with like black stripes. I didn't clean it. I didn't try and repaint it. It just stays how it is. So I will switch out the items that I put on the chair. I think I may have featured that little, oh no, I didn't. I was gonna say that little pottery vase in the front. I purchased that from a friend at a flea market. And then I also got the vintage like rake from him. He just gave that to me. It has a great yellow color. Again, I love yellows and greens. And then the pumpkin, I think a family member gave that to me. But I like to buy funky looking pumpkins with different colors and then put them also on the chair during the fall time. And the place that I purchased the pumpkins from, I mean, these pumpkins will actually last until well after Christmas, and then they finally start to go bad. But this same corner, and this is for Christmas, the sled I bought at an estate sale. and that I keep. That's why when I went garbage picking and I found that other sled, I didn't keep that sled because I have this one, which is in a lot better condition. The shovel, I bought that at the flea market. I think that was a whopping $5. And then see, you have the pumpkin. This is Christmas time and the pumpkin is still out. The little green stool, I bought that and then at an auction as well. I must confess, the tree I did purchase at a craft store. It was on sale. This was actually taken, I think, probably after Christmas, so it was like 75% off. But I thought that it would look great out there, and it does. And then the shutter in the back, I actually have two of those same shutters as headboards with a really old wooden shutter in between that has a moon cut out for my bed. So that was an extra shutter that the guy threw in, so it looks really good in this display. So I keep that out too for Christmas time. But again, when I come home, I'm greeted by this cute little setup and it makes me smile. These are my Island of Misfit toys. So not only do I have a collection of creepy dolls, I also have a collection of poor little stuffed animals that have seen better days but are well worn with love. The tiger on the left, I purchased him, tiger or lion, I think tiger, at the auction. I don't even think anyone wanted him. I think I got it for $1. I'm not sure if he's a stiff. I know I did look him up once, but I forget. But he's not going to be sold. I'm keeping him. His eyes were attached in a little plastic baggie with a safety pin, I think, to his tail. I didn't sew the eyes back on. I like him just the way he is. And then behind him, you see that cute little face that is actually a bunny, an Easter bunny. Then we have little dogs, another rabbit, a bigger dog, and then behind the large dog on the right, there's another really, really sad blue bunny. I love these guys. I add the Island of Misfit toys. I brought these out one year for Christmas. If you are familiar with the Rudolph and the Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer claymation, there is an Island of Misfit toys. So you have the Jack in the Box, the little girl Dolly. And so that is what I modeled this after because I thought it was very appropriate. And again, I'm using the vintage cradle that I bought that had the creepy dolls in it. So I switched them out, but I love these toys. That's why when I do find vintage stuffed animals at flea markets and they're kind of in really sad condition, it's very hard for me to leave them there. And most of the time, people will sell them to you for only a couple dollars, if that, because, the thing is dirty, eyes are missing, buttons are missing, but I think that shows how much it was loved. And so they can, continue to have a good life instead of being thrown in the trash and forgotten. Here we have some of my vintage ice skaters. There was an estate sale I went to years ago down in South Jersey, and it was probably the best estate sale I've ever been to in my life. It was run by just two guys, and they did not look in anything at all. The lady, I'm not sure what her circumstances were, the homeowner, but she had to sell everything. And so everything in the house was for sale. I mean, this is one of those sales where you are digging through the drawers, you're digging under the bed. It was an amazing sale, and this woman had amazing vintage items. I found a bag of these skaters in her bedroom closet. And I mean, there were so many. The colors are super cute. You can't see, but there's actually a girl in a pink snowsuit behind the guy in the green in the front. I love them. These are probably some of my favorite items to put out at Christmas. I mean, that sale, I found so much great vintage Christmas decor. So these are actually on, it's some kind of wheel. Again, I found that at the flea market. I think for like $1. And it's 2 tiers, so I can do different displays. So I'll put these people on the front, and then I'm not sure what I put on the bottom half. But then there you have my bottle brush trees, my favorite. But it's a nice winter scene, and the item that they're standing on kind of looks like a skating rink, and that's why I use that. Again, it's a little blurry, but this is on top of a wooden cabinet that has been in my family for years that I recently acquired We have a wooden little miniature home. It's seen better days, but it has a green roof, a little rustic feel to it. These trees aren't bottle brush trees. They're different, but they are old and they have some kind of like stuff on them that makes it look like snow. And again, you know, another little wooden fence. The lamp on the right was from my family, and what I did is I just bought a small string of lights and then I put them inside because I like the look and the nice warm glow that it gives. So I have this up during January and February for like a winter scene. And here's another winter scene. This car, I somehow have accumulated vintage cars, little tiny miniature cars, whether they're rubber, you know, the metal, the tin litho, but I come across them and I buy them if the price is right, aka $1 or less. The home is a ceramic home that is modeled after one of our local historic homes. And I purchased that in an estate sale. And you have the great bottle brush trees and the fence and then actually a little light post. So here again, I'm creating a story because that is what I like to do. I don't just want to throw things up. Be like, yeah, that looks all right. I do like to create stories with my little trinkets and treasures that I find all over. So this is one of the stories that I have. Just a car in front of its house, you know, waiting through the winter. And we're back to my ceramic Christmas tree in the background, and then this little beauty that's holding up a star. She is part of a set of angels that I think I got at that great sale down in South Jersey. She's holding a star. Another one that I have is holding a candy cane. Another one I think has like a Christmas book. So she goes in front of my ceramic Christmas tree, kind of like she's trying to reach to put the star at the top. So I hope that you've all enjoyed these little pictures of how I decorate with vintage items, and it gives you an idea of what I do with the things that I find at the flea market and at the auctions and estate sales for the items that I keep. You know, I really do enjoy decorating with vintage. I think it adds, you know, it just adds something extra to the holidays to be able to see these items that, you know, people had 50, 60 years ago and that they're still going strong, you know, they're still bringing joy to people's lives. And that's why I decorate with them, because I love the look, I love the style, and then I also love just the memories and the history that go with them. And why I always look forward to going to the markets and estate sales and finding these things so that they can be taken out of their boxes or their bags or their totes and enjoyed once again. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. You know, maybe later on as we go through more holidays, I'll make another little slideshow like this, or as I put together more stories on my windowsill, I'll show those as well. But, you know, again, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, subscribe. You know, if you've gotten any ideas from these little pictures, let me know how you decorate. I would love to hear your stories as well. So thank you all for watching, and until I see you next time, have a great day.